Unfortunately, nowadays we have to question everything.
This is possible because of Harvey. He is a wonderful human being, a good friend, and just a powerhouse. And the fact that he and his team took the time to make this happen for all of you should say something not about me or about this place, but about you.
Knew there'd be a pandemic. Nobody knew there'd be a pandemic or an epidemic of this proportion.
There may and likely will come a time in which we have both an airborne disease that is deadly. And in order for us to deal with that effectively, we have to put in place an infrastructure, not just here at home, but globally, that allows us to see it quickly, isolate it quickly, respond to it quickly. So that if and when a new strain of flu, like the Spanish flu, crops up 5 years from now or a decade from now, we've made the investment and we're further along to be able to catch it. It is a smart investment for us to make. It's not just insurance, it is knowing that down the road we're going to continue to have problems like this, particularly in a globalized world.
Man, wake up!
This agenda for vaccine, why? That's the question we need to be asking.
Well,
why?
let's ask that question, because what would you suggest is the motive for these world organizations pushing such blatantly false claims and spreading global panic?
The pretext was really, what the media told the world was that we, the United States, went in to protect the oil interests of Kuwait because Iraq had set fires on those wells. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, yes. It was to protect Kuwait.
It was to protect Kuwait. I can tell you the name of the person if you want me to. He was a first sergeant, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying it. I'll just say it. First Sergeant Rafael Medina from Columbia, South Carolina, a very close friend of mine who served with me in Korea. And he told me, he said, "Sir, I don't know what's going on, but I can tell you that those fires, 300 of those fires, myself and 11 of my men in 6 dune buggies went out and set those fires." Okay, that's the type of information that the media doesn't cover. We created that false flag event so that we could then justify our actions. What is the agenda right now? I believe it's the same agenda. It's a false flag event to then mandate mandatory vaccines. They're mounting 5G towers everywhere. They've got toxicity all over the place, from the outgassing of combustion of fossil fuels, the chemtrails, all this different stuff. And then what are they doing? They're dumbing down the population. They're going to start giving vaccines, and the people that don't get the vaccines, they're going to basically be considered as dissidents. People like me will be the shot in the head. People like you will be shot in the head, or we'll be quarantined in some kind of a concentration camp. They're going to put more RF chips in us to see who has had the vaccine, who hasn't had the vaccine. And then the people that are getting more and more sick because of the vaccine, they're going to say, "Oh my God, look, more people are getting sick. We need more vaccines. More people are getting exposed to 5G. Oh, look, more people are getting sick. We need more vaccines." And it's going to be a cycle that they're going to keep on going over and over again until they've got everybody digitized and they have RF chips in everybody.
With no medical background, Bill Gates then went on to become the world's foremost pusher of vaccines and population control. Do you think this is all coincidence? The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation funds the WHO, the NIH, the CDC, and the UN. And now he is saying that until we get mass vaccinations, we might never be able to gather in groups.
And which activities like mass gatherings may be, in a certain sense, more optional. And so until you're widely vaccinated, those may not come back at all.
Dr. Fauci is on the Leadership Council for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. In January of 2017, Anthony Fauci told a crowd at Georgetown University that there would be a surprise outbreak during the Trump presidency.
There is no question that there will be a challenge to the coming administration in the arena of infectious diseases, both chronic infectious diseases in the sense of already ongoing disease, and we have certainly a large burden of that, but also there will be a surprise outbreak.
You asked me the question, you opened up the can of worms, that's what I believe. Some people may disagree with me, most people may think I'm a lunatic. It doesn't make any difference because you know what? It's a part and parcel of what's been coming down the pipeline for years, for decades. The National Vaccine Initiative, stamp out childhood disease. We're not going to have autism anymore. And autism was 1 in 10,000 in 1991. Now the numbers are 1 in 32. The CDC's own data shows that 1% of the world's population has autism. The CDC's own data, the population of the world right now is 7.7 billion. That means 77 million people have autism. Caused from what? From the vaccines. And you're telling me that this new vaccine that Fauci is going to introduce and ignore the hydroxychloroquine and the Zithromax, you're telling me that vaccine is something that I should be considering safe to introduce into my body, into my children's body? I'll be dead before that happens. There's no way that I'm going to allow anybody to take our sovereign right. Thomas Jefferson said that when a people allow a government to dictate the foods they put in their mouths and the medicines to take in their bodies, their souls will soon be in the same sorry state as those who live under tyranny. And that's exactly where we're going. Unless we rise and we en masse people go up and have public gatherings of thousands, 2,000, 3,000 people and show that there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to fear but fear itself, in the words of FDR. What are they going to do? Arrest 2,000, 3,000 people in every city? This is what's needed right now. And we have a small window of opportunity because the Surgeon General already came out and said the numbers, and the mainstream media is trying to desensitize it, block it, make sure that nobody knows about it, and they're upping their game. They're trying to tell people, no, not 6 feet of social distancing, 13 feet. No, it's not going to be in 1 year before you go back to it. It's going to be 2022. That's what these bastards are saying. And for what agenda? To further the agenda of the vaccine mandate. It doesn't make any sense. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all lies. These numbers are not there. Even the numbers they're using right now still don't equate to the seasonal flu. Still they're under it. That's why they're overinflating the numbers. That's why they're changing the death certificates. That's why they're telling nurses to get laid off so they can go back and change the cause of death. That's why they're changing the mandate. That's why they've got mannequins and they're filming one hospital and it's all staged. I've never seen an ICU like what they had on ABC. I'm thinking to myself, well, okay, it's Italy, so maybe that's how their ICUs look. Then they show the same thing in New York. And I'm like, wait a second, it's the same freaking footage. It's one lie upon another lie, Gary. And the American people, not just the American people, the world's citizens, this is affecting the entire world.
Talk about a dramatic day at the Capitol. Protesters line the halls trying to stop a plan to crack down on medical vaccine exemptions. Protesters banged on the Senate doors, delaying the session by more than an hour, but the final vote went on.
Ayes 27, noes 11, the measure passes. Members, we are really...
You hear the reaction there in the hall. The bill passed the Senate just hours after it passed the Assembly and days after new changes were made. And a few minutes later, we found out Governor Gavin Newsom had already signed this bill and a second one to support the new plan. It all happened very fast. Becca Hubbecker is following the story for us tonight. And Becca, this is a controversial topic.
Yeah, vaccinations are a hot topic indeed among some groups with very strong opinions. But, let's put a pause on all the drama and just look at what became law today. Kids with an exemption issued before this coming January 1st can keep attending school until they hit the next milestone. That's either kindergarten or 7th grade. But starting in 2021, it's going to get a lot harder to get a vaccination exemption, and kids without them have to either get vaccinated or they can't attend school. As of 2021, all medical exemption requests must come to the state's California Immunization Registry. And the new law asks for a lot of information on that standardized form, including how long the doctor issuing the exemption has been treating the child and an explanation of why the kid should be exempt for each specific required vaccine, and law lays out at least 10 of those. The form also requires a doctor to certify that the information she or he is providing is, quote, true, accurate, and complete, and the law says that providing false information could get that doctor in legal trouble. 7-year-old Olivia and her parents came down from the Reading area today to protest at the Capitol.
We listened to a pediatrician that said it was in her best interest to have her vaccinated at 2 months, and she was vaccinated and she had a terrible reaction. We spent 3 weeks in ICU and we almost lost her. She ended up having a brain infection and a blood infection.
I asked if they were able to pinpoint exactly what caused that reaction.
We had a couple of specialists that did tell us that they had sort of felt that it was the vaccines and for us to not vaccinate. And so we've stuck to our guns and have not vaccinated since.
Dr. Dean Bloomberg is Chief of Pediatric Infectious Diseases for UC Davis Children's Hospital.
So vaccines are safe and vaccines are effective and vaccines save lives. There's no question among the mainstream medicine and scientists about that. Those are all proven facts.
Number one, America is a corporation. It is a business. Okay, it's not a country. It's not a nation. It's not any of that. It is a corporation. It has a ESBN number. Okay, it has a tax ID number. Are you tripping right now? And the receipt is your social security number. Okay. You are bought and paid for. That's your birth certificate. You are bought and paid for. That's why they press you to work like we do. Okay? You need to know that. I'm sorry to tell you these things. But every politician, okay, is not good for you. Cut the shit and wake the hell up. All right. I gotta go. Hope this helps. Have a good night. Have a good day. Stop spreading fear. Okay, because this won't do shit for you when it's airborne and you breathe in air every day. And in order to avoid it, you'd have to stop breathing. How you gonna do that, Sway? How you gonna stop breathing? I don't know. Stop this shit and think. Think. Wake up, Neo. All right, have a good one.